Hi, my name is Benjamin Haight. This is for Finance 650. This is my process improvement project. All right, so the problem that I'm presenting in this project for the company I work for is Grand Canyon University. Actually, it's Grand Canyon Education Incorporated. The issue at hand is that although counselors have a lot of tools with the right information to give to students, we don't have enough as we could. So a way to solve this, which I'm going to go over in a couple slides, is that we need a system that is really set up to design students that have all the information they need. Students often call in sometimes and they don't know which information to look for. They don't know exactly what Grand Canyon University can do for them, even when the counselors try to say it for them. And there needs to be a little bit more of an efficient process of how to do so. So this is the problem that I'm presenting and talking about in my paper, PowerPoint, and also this video. So really quickly as well, Grand Canyon University is really great. Honestly, I'm blessed to work for the university. As a counselor myself, and I hope a successful one at that, this is how we can get more students. Next slide, please. All right, so who's involved? So these stakeholders are what is outside the organization in the first place, and our organization has the luxury of having incredible stakeholders, as we're now a great company with 20,000 plus campus students and 70,000 plus online, and a very extensive network of partners and scholarship opportunities from other organizations and the like. So a lot of stakeholders at hand. However, this process that I'm talking about really does focus on the potential students. So this is consumer driven, however, the stakeholders get a little bit of proof that the university is doing better, therefore they can invest more money because the counselors will be able to more effectively get more students out to the body. So as these students come on more, the university will grow. And as the university grows, so will profit size, and then it trickles down to the stakeholders that are then satisfied even more because the counselors can do a better job. So next slide, please. Right, so the solution that I was talking about, I broke it up in terms of the micro, when the counselor level, on the counselor level, to basically talk about when we're on the phone with students. We're on the phone for about 8.5 hours sometimes per day with potential students that sometimes call in, sometimes we call them, depends. So comparing programs, so say for example, a bachelor's in psychology, very popular one that a lot of students want. What's gonna separate us from the competition? We need a comparison tool to allow for them to see that, to eliminate the need for the student to do research. So putting it more on us to prove our worthiness instead of proving it to them to think about a lot of different factors that usually don't need to be weighed into the college talk, if you will. So highlights of our programs as well will be added onto this analysis tool. So say for example, you take Grand Canyon University's Bachelor's in Psychology. Great program, costs a certain amount per credit hour, allows for certain kinds of career outcomes. Then you can take, say, Ashford University's Bachelor's in Psychology or some sort of other psychology program. They have different tuition that might be more, might be different. Their semesters might be broken up differently as they are Western Governors University, or there may be other issues at hand that we can show to our students on this analysis tool. So that is on the micro level what it's going to look like. It's going to give our transparent look that the students will then enjoy because they now know that the counselors will represent exactly what they want. Eliminates the need for them to do research. They're going to call in and be like, wow, this is incredibly easy. I cannot wait to even move forward in this conversation. Next slide, please. So on the macro level now, the solution becomes even more extravagantly pleasant for Grand Canyon University to enjoy. So analyzing this tool, obviously it prevents counselors from oversharing information. A problem that I run into sometimes is I know a university, being from Southern California, so I know Southern California universities. I know where they go wrong. So I'm gonna talk to them, almost beat the dead horse, if you will, more than I should sometimes. This comparison tool stops counselors like me to do that. This comparison tool also will prevent a lot of misconstrued information from being in existence because a lot of students not really are sure what kind of research they're looking for. They look at fake news. This eliminates fake news, if you will. That's not what I'm actually putting in my paper, but that's a fact. Students also know what their programs offer. So say, for example, bachelor's in psychology, that can get pretty vague. What does it actually do for me? They can call in, we can email them a tool. Granted, we're gonna need a proper email to send it to, or we can show it to them in a different form, but they can see it on their end, see the research, move on from there with exactly what talking points they need to consider this with their parents if needed, with themselves, with their spouse, whatever it needs. And overall, bigger picture as well, GCU is already as transparent as it gets. We have a net price calculator, we have a zero credit Lopes evaluation, we can compare your transcripts, see how they can come in, show you how many college credits you have left to finish your degree. Huge. Not a lot of universities are that open and willing to show exactly what the programs are about and prove to their students why they are worthy of consideration. GCU excels in this. We are student friendly. This just shows to prove that even more. So that solution is really brought up much more on the macro level than in the micro, day-to-day interaction with the counselor and student. So all kinds of counselors, nursing, doctoral, masters, military, you name it, the counselors are going to be much more benefited by the cost of our programs being intertwined with this comparison analysis tool, show how GCU is better than others. So next slide, please. Okay, the timeline of this important project. So usually what happens, so say for example, the application we actually just created that's much newer and better for our students to apply to the university. That process took about, I'd say, 5 months to implement. It's still a little finicky at times, but the old application has now been proven to be obsolete because this new one is streamlined. You can do it on the phones. You can go a lot of different ways around it. This project is going to take about 3, maybe 4 months to implement. That is a new tool that will be added on from our CRM Microsoft database, and we are going to email it to students with the comparison analysis. So say they're taking the bachelor's in psychology at Grand Canyon University, comparing it to Ashford University, very popular online university, or University of Phoenix, whatever. We can compare all 3 of those programs side by side so the student can then see it. That's going to take a lot of time for the marketing and operations team to find the research, to include the data on that, and also to make it look appealing for the student to have the information that they need. Because, of course, with Grand Canyon University and how gorgeous our campus is, we need all the stuff we're going to use to be good looking. So, also included in the timeline, the 3rd month, what's going to happen, there's going to need to be a training session for all the counselors like myself to go to learn what this tool is about, when to use it in conversation, and what strategies should be implemented through the use of this great new transparent tool. So, in the week of, after that meeting's over, which is mandatory for all counselors, not too long, but also fun and interactive. After that's completed, that week of, as the process is rolling out and as the plan is being implemented, the counselors on their own can do independent research, find out what universities they can look into on their own, what talking points to best use, and how they use it in their own personal interactions with their, potential students. Some counselors like to talk a lot. Some counselors are silent. Some counselors are very deep voices. Some counselors have different strategies for different ways they talk to consumers. This week is what is called the implementation week on their own. So that's kind of homework for the counselors to do before the new tool is implemented. Next slide, please. Okay, so lastly, how is this all going to work? How is the communication plan going to go? Brian Mueller, our great leader at Grand Canyon University, the president and one of the most, honestly, genius CEOs in probably Phoenix history. Brian Mueller, of course, needs to be told what this is about, why this is beneficial, what this is going to look like, and how it's going to go. Marketing team needs to go to Brian Mueller and the board of directors of the Student Affairs and present the idea in a way such as so that I'm doing right now. Once Brian Mueller goes, that's perfect, go Lopes, then the process will go down to the executives, and then the managers, and then lastly the counselors. So it's going to trickle down from the top to the employees that will then use it to their students currently, just to let them know, hey, I know you just started, but this is another tool. I just want you to have it because you were considering University of Phoenix. and I just want to show you where you're at and what we can do that can cement the idea that this program is a good fit for you. Also, but this is much more oriented toward communicating in general, or counselors having more to talk about over the phone, because sometimes that can be a concern with people that don't like to talk, which potential students, that happens. Also, it helps counselors to be more transparent and open to the student that is nervous and not entirely sure what to do for this big next step in their life, because college choosing is a huge step. We just want to help them out in the end, and this tool is exactly what's needed to make that happen even more and much easier. Next slide, please. So that is my project. I would like to thank you very much for listening. I do hope this happens sometime soon in my organization, and I hope that I can be a small help in letting my manager know about this, and then he can let his manager, and then we can go from there, help out the students to come to GCU.